Hello, 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 my people. How are you? I am so excited. I'm very excited again to be here. My name is Mary Ajagbe, and welcome to Dare to Live with Me. Yay! Okay, so how was the last two episodes for you? Still would love your feedbacks, and what it what you really felt. Did it minister to you? Did it touch your mind? Did it impact something in you? Seriously, guys, I really would love to hear your feedback. So this week we're going to be talking about who do you have around you. At first I've just been wondering. There are a lot of things that I'd seen in the last couple of days, and the question just dropped in my heart just yesterday. Who do you have around you? Do you know that you're a sum total of the people that you're surrounded by? One of the very profound things that I started to realize lately is that literally whatever happens through people, whether good or bad. It happens through people. Now I know that some people are wondering, right, people, yes, I know you've been hurt by people, there's still trauma, there's all of that. But I think that one very important lesson that I learned a while ago was from the study of Moses and the Israelites, the children of God, and how they were in the wilderness. And it was a story about where the snake had beaten them, and the same thing that had beaten them was what the Lord had, like an image literally of the serpent, was on the rod, and as many as looked on the rod, and the serpent, which represented Jesus in this scenario, right? So I mean, it's just so interesting, right? That the same thing that beat you, like an image was created out of that and had the potential to also heal you. Profound, just profound. Just sit in that knowledge for a bit. Just sit in that knowledge that the same thing that has the capacity to hurt you has the capacity to heal you. How? Why? Change of perspective. Absolute change of perspective. For a very long time I was the girl that was I felt like I didn't need people. Like, I'd been so hurt, and I'd also hurt people, because really, literally a lot of the times we just stay on the defensive of, the fact that people have hurt us. And it's so justified. I do not, for any reason take for granted the hurt or the trauma or the pain that people have caused you. But at the same time, there's also a flip side to which a lot of us really do not think sometimes, and which is the fact that we also have hurt people, and we also sometimes hurt people. And that knowledge, I feel like if we come to a place where we balance the knowledge, that the same way that, I'm not saying that it's revenge, or that because people have hurt you, then no. But what I'm saying is that if we're able to stand, right, and look deeply at the fact that people have hurt us and we have also hurt people, I think it would help us to be more graceful, more better towards extending grace towards the people that hurt us, knowing that we also have done same to other people, and most importantly, we've done same to God, and He's forgiving us, and we didn't have to. Through the blood of Jesus, of course, right? He's forgiven us, and when we come to Him to repent, when He highlights it in our lives that, hey, this is it, right? So I said all of that to, bring perspective to where I was going to. Who do you have around you, right? And you're a sum total of the people that you're surrounded by. So the reality is this, right? That we're in a world where, Scripture says it, that that there's darkness covers the earth and gross darkness the people. So you must know that there's gross darkness, upon people. That means minds are darkened. That means that there are a lot of minds that are not yet liberated. There are a lot of people that have very how do I use the word? Very ridiculous mindset. And use the word ridiculous loosely because I've also been in that space. And I'm sure that, I mean, as many as are listening to me, you've also been in that space where you're being like, when you look back at some of the things you did in the past, you're just like, man, that was just so ridiculous. How could I have, but thank God for one thing, for light. And as a result, and that light came as a result of the people that you were surrounded by at different seasons in your life, at different times in your life. And that for me says a very big thing about how God is very intentional with our lives and very intentional with the people that we are surrounded by, and that as we allow him and align to his will and purposes for our life, there are people that naturally will gravitate towards you. And guess what? They're people of light, of like minds. They're people of like values. They're people of like beliefs, right? But then, of course, it's not for him. So I once heard this analogy, right? That, I mean, the Bible calls us the light of the world, and everything. It's just like, you people are not supposed to be gathered in one room, like lights, plenty lights. Everybody just blindfold each other with too much light all over the place, right? So we're light, right? We've been called out of darkness, first off, into the marvelous light of God, to also go out into the dark places and shine our lights into the lives of people that are around us. Right, but first question before we move, because it's like a slope, right? So first off, the Lord calls you from darkness into light, and then he surrounds you with people who are light, so that as iron sharpens iron, you're sharpened consistently and continuously, as long as, now this is the clause, as long as you allow, right? So there's this thing that I've heard for a very long time: show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. I think that sometimes people feel like, that doesn't really make any sense, how can you say that? I'm not really my friends. But hey, there was something that I realized. I seem to have a lot of realizations. But oh well, I thank God for that. So there was something that I realized. So I remember one time I was dating this guy, and all of a sudden people would just say, are you guys related? Like, are you brother and sister? And we look at each other like, no, we're just dating and all of that. And you'll be like, wow, superb. And I noticed also that the more time that I spent around certain people, the more that I began to look like them, the more that I began to talk like them unconsciously, the more that I began to look like them, talk like them, unconsciously. Like, you just pick up certain habits from by just association. And that's why it's very important in this season of life that if you've never done a life audit, or you've never really bothered, right, about the people that you are surrounded by, right, I think it's time for you to do a check, to sit back, because also you must understand that the people that you're surrounded by have a part to play in the result, in the fruits that you bear in your life. Whether you believe it or not, consciously or unconsciously, they have a part to play. So who are you surrounded by? Who have you allowed into your circle? Who have you allowed into the holies of holies? A friend once gave me this analogy and said, we're talking about the tabernacle, and all of that, and how they were like, places, and how there's the inner court, and then there's the outer court, and then, there's the holies of holies, right? It's like, that's like the inner chamber. I don't know if I got that sequence right, but anyways, listen to the analogy. So he started to say to me how there are certain people that should only be in the outer court. You do not allow them into the inner court. And it's said that the further that you go, there are people that are supposed to ride with you only in the holies of holies. Now I use this analogy because, so let's think about it, that you have a house, right? So let me just bring it down to earth realm, because I just took a heavenly realm. So let's get down to earth realm, right? So you have a house, and let's say you have like a 2-bedroom, right? A 2-bedroom, there's the living room, and then there's your bedroom. So your bedroom is the inner chamber, where literally you are naked and unashamed, right? And then there's a living room where guests come into play, where people come in and all of that. Then there's the compound, or the environment that which you live, right? That there are people that you shouldn't even bring into your living room. Get this. There are people that only should have access to seeing you within the compound, right? And there are people that should have access to your living room only. Now, there are people that are meant for your bedroom, and one of such persons is your spouse, right? And I'm just giving it like, I'm just using an analogy here, right? To just intimate you on who you allow into the realms of your heart, because all of these things have a way of defining you. Why, whether you are aware of it or not. Now I know that there's been a lot of cancel culture in recent times and all of that, right? But stay with me on this. While I do believe that there are, for the cancel culture, I really do not have like a one pack opinion. I feel like it's very subjective still. But anyway, that's not where I'm going to. But what I'm saying is this, right? That there are people that should only be allowed into the compound space. Ah, hello, hi. No more than that. There are people that, you can then invite, oh, come on in, into your living room. And then they sit down and then you talk and everything, but it stays within the confines of your living room. And there are people that should only have access to your bedroom, which is your inner chamber. People like your children. In some places that's even, but yeah, you get what I mean. Your children, your spouse, maybe your mom, depending on, when you give birth, they probably have to be in your room, so, and all of that, right? So I'm just giving you this context to think of it in terms of, just like reality, and then earth-wise, right? But then this speaks to the fact that we're also tripartite, beings as all. There's your body, there's your soul, there's your spirit, right? Your body is a physical part of you. And sometimes you might think that, it doesn't really matter what I do with my body, but it does matter, because just by association, again, certain things seep through your body into your spirit. Certain things seep into your body through your soul, and all of that happens, right? But then back to the case in point, the focus of this conversation. The first question you want to ask yourself is this: who do I have around me? Who have I allowed in my space? Who have I given access to that shouldn't have access to me in this kind of way? Who are you naked and unashamed with? Who are you? What kind of fruits are you bearing? You want to take a look at your fruits, and then that would inform also for you to know, who have I surrounded myself with? Because I'll tell you why this is very important, right? Because I used to be the person that has been so hurt by people and all of that, and I've had to also let certain relationships go because it wasn't serving God's purpose and plan in my life. Even at the time, I didn't even know that it wasn't, right? I just felt like, oh no, I had to just be associated. I felt like, oh no, this was the do or die affair. But moving as I walked consistently, and did I just say consistently? Not so consistent. But as I work, now when I say constantly, I use the term losing in my mind, right? As I just walk with God and I come up to a place of knowledge in Him, time after time after time after time, I'm understanding the essence of certain people in my life. I'm understanding the essence of what has happened in the past, right? And the people that I allowed in, even without understanding, and this is where boundary comes into play and all of that. But then again, the focus of this conversation is, who do you have around you, right? I want you to do that audit. Who do you have around you? So find out, who do you have? Do that self-audit. Check it out. Who are you surrounded by? Because you are a sum total of the people that you're surrounded by. One last analogy that I'll use before I close this episode, and then, we'll talk about it more, and also how to we'll delve into it a bit more in the next episode, is the person that I'm a believer, I'm a firm believer in Jesus, and there's nothing to hide about that, right? How can you not talk about the one who is the lover of your soul? I just wanted to drop that in. Okay, so I just remember the story of Jesus and how there was a crowd that constantly followed him up to a particular point. But if you notice, the crowd didn't follow him all the way home, right? He didn't have a home technically. His home was people, which is still happening today. His home is us. We are his home. But then he had his disciples, and he had the 12 disciples, and then they had the 3 disciples that were like very close to him, and then there was the crowd. So it's important for you to know what category people in your life fall into. Do they belong to the crowd? People have a lot of fans these days, but you necessarily do not have followers, necessarily do not have disciples. You just have a lot of fans. People who are just in the moment liking you for the bit of stardom or whatever it is that you seem to possess, and sometimes are just attracted to the shining light. You must understand that even insects are attracted by light, so yeah, back to my point, right? So question you want to ask again is, do you have, what category of people belong to the crowd? What category of people belong as the 12 disciples? And what category of people belong as your inner circle? The 3 that Jesus had. I hope that you're able to think through this process. I hope that this words flow to your heart and helps you to do a life audit, because it's important in the coming seasons. It's important for you to be who God has called you to be, for you to be efficient and productive, to be able to bear fruit adequately in life, for you to be, I'm not going to use the word successful, because that's again very subjective, right? And that's very, in a way, because success to me is not what success is to you. You understand? So I don't want to use the word successful, but to be productive in the way that you're meant to be impactful, to be living a life of purpose and satisfaction and contentment, you need to do this survey. You need to do this reflection. You need to check, because it's important in the coming days who you are surrounded by, because it's a determinant of how far you can go and how far you will go in life, right? So I hope that this episode blesses you. I hope you're blessed by it. And again, question: who are you surrounded by? Who are the people that you're surrounded by, right? I bless you with these words, and I look to seeing you next week on a new episode. And we're going to talk more about this. We're just going to delve in and just talk through it, basically. So see you guys till next time. Love you. Mwah.